Lo biro gamarta yukya dal kong min bukan wan yinu bakik kuyong na kwere beng kuyarula na mawanyay kalkia gating tongu kweban panarol gaykwal kurumbe guban yorgula lor nyang pandi de cheja no manim gudibiyang panalira ye kugong ray kwador menyang panlo ne moriyun matuan kolotongo gayoke kolbeng kediare cheja gamule jung paya diar dor kok bay nyam nom na unu galo be juara juar go boy kumi kau ke kumi mar yang bay yor makret yanu kwe jipo na jol jigan jan yer makan kami wilang king ganya lo batera go ga jai tiar len tung juk be miet be jol dio ting kun lang nyer yang mangar ma jok ting aku mayom ko kan marial jowul ting go kwen kun batem go pora chom yana chung cherwop moinde mobil darwai magang dit kedidanga kwir manyang kagayana le nyamur ma kuyar madol banyak twai ting pan barai pajag pur kunyi bodeng tinga jagai payan mau kwanya lintiane ke por malanga jur kwir dor kumoinde jalo wuru ma jok Lo biro gamarta yukya dal kong min bukan wan yinu bakik kuyong na kwere beng kuyarula na mawanyay kalkia gating tongu kweban panarol gaykwal kurumbe guban yorgula lor nyang pandi de cheja no manim gudibiyang panalira ye kugong ray kwador menyang.
Welcome back, guys. Welcome back. My name is Abraham Adit. My guest in the studio with me, Edmund Yakani. Edmund Yakani is live with me right now. He's not in the place that there's no stable network condition. For those of you who are in Facebook, YouTube, please start sharing this video. We need to discuss some few topic that going on in our country. Edmund, I see that your network is not connected yet. Bear with me. Yeah, he's here. Edmund. All right. So we will make this interview short, between 30 to 45 minutes. We will not be going that long. Edmund, let me see. Edmund, can you hear me? Okay, here you go. All right, good evening, Edmund. How are you? Where you at? Why the your network so
I can hear you.
So where you are now? So welcome. So where you are now? Tell us where you are right now. It seems like you are not in Juba.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Okay, so bear with us, guys. So he's having a network issues there with him. He's in somewhere in Unity State, and it's good that he's there, so he can give us an update what's going on there in Unity State, because those areas are the hard places where there is a lot of violence going on. And I'm glad that he's over there to give us some in-depth updates going on in that area, part of the region. So meanwhile, while I'm waiting for Edmund to come back, let me pull up. Let me move him out here so that he can be connected. Sorry, Jamal, bear with me. Let me play some new music while I'm waiting for him to come back.
Rana chola wow kwarer wow piti dio wow
Abdullah this one nobody Mako and a yerempo, Maya Daniel and a yerempo. Could you mark a day yo, Johnny Dagwari? Mako and a yerempo, Maya Daniel and a yerempo, a yatonga guamdo and a yerempo, a yatonga guam.
Lilo production.
Mangar bagen jubera god. This is look doing don't fan my beer. Mangar don't adam.
Okay, Edmund, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay.
I realize something is a bit funny in my room. So I walk out of my room. I will put my video on for a while just to show you the listeners that I'm not refusing. But I'm in Bentutown. I have to come out of my room in order to have access to easy internet.
Okay, no problem. Yeah, go ahead. So, yeah, give us update. What are you doing in Bentiu in the Unity State?
I came here mainly for two main reasons. Reason number one is to strengthen the capacity of the civil society towards the upcoming political event in the country. Of course, there's this issue of elections looming in our country. And besides that, also, there's this issue of oil pollution that is going on in this particular state. We know how much it's affecting communities, and also the site of Rueng. I'll be going to Pariang. I'll be here for 3 days, but also the issue of the floods, how do we prepare for the floods to ensure this time the floods won't affect our people like as we have seen it before. These are the reasons which made me to be here on the ground. And of course, as an activist, normally, as I used to tell people, I'm a first-handed person, so I'm looking also for my own information to come and check how is this state. I've been almost like 1 month, I didn't come to Bentiu. That's why today I'm here. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. It's good that you are there and give us a full update because for the oil pollution over that area is really terrible. And it's good that you shed a light on it so that the government take action, and also those companies who are working on the oil field in that area need to do something because it's really the environment is affecting environment over there, and also the people are getting sick. Even the newborn babies are born with some kind of disease, and that is not acceptable. So it's good that you are there and see. So before we go to our topic, because we have our discussion for today is regarding about the visit of South Africa President in Juba. He was there for 3 days in Juba, and also our next topic we need to talk about the illegal logging, cutting down tree in some part of area in Equatorial area. We need to talk about that to raise awareness. Why is it illegal? Why people allowed the cutting of the tree in the area, and the tree are the environment. So it's good. The tree are good for agriculture, are good for the weather. Because if they are keep cutting the tree out, so that's a problem that affects the environment. And also too, we need I need you to talk about the raising of fake news, hate speeches, and hostile propaganda in social media. And I have some of the video that I want to play before we go there. And before we talk about the last one too is I want you to touch base on the issues going on in the area. I have seen some of the video going on the Rabia. The people are protesting in Rabia town today, calling for stop the genocide in the Bay Area. Also, to that, calling for South Sudan forces to be withdrawn from the Bay region. So those are the our topic of this show. Before we go to those show topic, Irmun, how is a security over there in Unity State?
I would say Unity State relatively is stable to the one I know before. The town is okay. As I speak with you now, I'm staying in a hotel where I'm out of the hotel room because of issue of internet. I'm outside because the background is dark. That's why I couldn't show my video. But it's stable. So you can see economy is growing. People are engaging, but this is only in the seat of the town corner. But if you go to other locations, there are pockets of violence going on in some parts of the state outside very far. But in general, the state is stable in general assessment with some few challenges, like in other states that have challenges. But you can see the economical depression, you can see the economical strength on our local communities here. The common persons are suffering. And besides, this is an oil producing state. You don't see the impact, the visibility of the oil in terms of services to the people, the infrastructure of the state. That's really a challenge that I can see it on my naked eye, that I'm start asking myself really what's going on. So you find a seat of a state producing oil producing state, the seat is not really having infrastructure that tells you that this is state produced. And this tells you sometimes when you see some of these experiences from the Gulf countries that have oil, how the community is proposed. So that's one thing I can share that I have seen a bit discouraging, but the overall instability is okay. But of course, the looming environment of the elections coming is a common say. When I arrived this morning and I interact with the people, you can see everybody pronounce it. People are in dilemma. Are we going to have it or are not going to have it? Elections. And if we're going to have elections, what about the preconditions, the position of the parties towards that? So I think that's where the environment we're in now. But relatively, it's okay. As I'm today here, since morning, I'm here and I'm enjoying it. It's very nice. It's a very good place. But of course, the economical pressure is hard on our common people.
Thank you, Imun. I'm glad that you are there and give us an input on that. Thank you. Let us move to our topic very quick because your network over there is hard and I don't want to hold you up. So we will talk more when you return back to Juba. Let's talk about a little bit about the visit of South Africa President in Juba. So he was there for 3 days. What is he doing there? And before I let you answer that question, let me play the video.
I'm reading this statement on behalf of President Ramaphosa of South Africa. President Ramaphosa is immensely grateful to his dear brother, President Salva Kiir Mayardit, for the warm welcome and hospitality extended to him and his delegation since their arrival here in Juba 2 days ago. His Excellency the President is visiting South Sudan to reaffirm the historic and fraternal bonds of friendship and solidarity between the peoples of both countries, which bonds were forged during our common struggle for independence and freedom. Since South Sudan became independent in 2011, our two countries have established strong bilateral cooperation on various sectoral issues for our mutual benefit. Our discussion over the last 2 days afforded us an opportunity to deepen and strengthen the partnership. President states, we are here to express our support to the leadership and people of South Sudan on the ongoing efforts to consolidate peace, democracy, and development at this critical moment of the country's history. The President commends the people of South Sudan for the historic agreement signed in 2018, which brought an end to a conflict which almost derailed the prospects of building a stable, peaceful, and prosperous country. It has been 5 years since that peace agreement was signed. They're encouraged by the progress achieved thus far. The ceasefire agreement is holding, and threats to the country's peace and stability have been reduced. We believe that the ongoing work in the establishment of the unified security forces for the country, with that the security situation will further improve. We welcome the reconstitution of key institutions such as the National Elections Commission, the Political Parties Council, and the National Constitution Review Commission. His Excellency President Ramaphosa sincerely thanks His Excellency President Salva Kiir, First Vice President Riek Machar, and other signatories to the revitalized agreement for their frank and comprehensive briefing on the implementation of the revitalized agreement. His Excellency is encouraged that the parties remain committed to the revitalized agreement as the most viable vehicle to address the root causes of the conflict and to build sustainable peace in South Sudan. President Ramaphosa also thanks regional organizations and the international community for their support to South Sudan. In this regard, he indicates he had engagements with the representatives of the reconstituted Joint Monitoring and Evaluation Commission, with IGAD and the African Union Mission in South Sudan. I appreciate the insightful assessments on the situation in the country. The people of South Sudan are eagerly waiting for the general elections, which will bring an end to the transitional period. These elections will be a watershed moment in this country's transition to democracy. President Ramaphosa understands that parties are engaged in a national dialogue in order to agree on the necessary conditions for the holding of credible elections. This will require addressing the outstanding provisions of the revitalized agreement, such as the adoption of the Constitution and security arrangements. Lasting peace, stability, and development will depend on how the collective leadership navigates the challenges ahead. The revitalized agreement is a very comprehensive commitment on how to take the country forward, and the parties to it must be applauded. Progress in the implementation of the provisions of the agreement is laudable, but it is clear more work is still outstanding. South Africa is deeply concerned about the ongoing conflict and humanitarian catastrophe in Sudan, which is also affecting other countries in the region, including South Sudan. We support IGAD and the African Union in their efforts and call upon them to intensify these efforts of finding resolution to the conflict in Sudan. South Africa will itself in May this year hold general elections to afford our people their democratic right to choose their leaders. We are pleased that the National Elections Commission of South Sudan will be one of the observer missions to our elections as part of the African Union Elections Observation Mission. In conclusion, as the President returns to South Africa, he is hopeful that the parties will continue to dialogue and find consensus on outstanding issues of the implementation of the revitalized agreement so that the people of South Sudan can look forward to a peaceful and democratic end to the transitional period. On behalf of his government and the people of South Africa, President Ramaphosa reiterates his commitment and his country's commitment to support the South Sudanese as they go through the transitional period. He asserts that we will provide every support possible within our means to ensure a democratic and peaceful end to the transitional period. And he thanks you for the wonderful hospitality.
Okay, so have it, Edmund? You can pick up from there. So as we hear it from Honorable Ministry of International Relationship, Edmund, are you there?
Yes, I'm following.
Okay, yeah, so you can pick up from there. Thank you.
Thank you very much. First, I would like to say Cyril Ramaphosa, His Excellency, as a President of South Africa, is very proactive on our file and our agenda. And you are aware that he was really proactively engaged when he was a Vice President. He was keen. He was too close with us. He keep on being normally not far from the situation we are in, right from his time when he sits as a vice president, and now he is a president, and still he's proactively engaging on our issue of seeking peaceful and stable state of South Sudan. This is one thing. There are two things in Ramaphosa, in His Excellency President Ramaphosa visit, that I like to pull out. Number one, I want to pull out on the element of neutralizing the mistrust and lack of confidence between the principals, and this is specifically His Excellency President, First Vice President, through the implementation of the revitalized peace agreement. If you follow that very careful from the speech that delivered on behalf of him by this lady, in the conclusion, towards the conclusion, there's a calls that were being made. Call number one is that you hold a dialogue, and that dialogue is ending up by conclusion in the end of the statement that you reach consensus. So, in simple interpretation, is that the visit of Ramaphosa have never traded any deal. The deal of consensus building through a dialogue on the faith of the elections still remain an answer to the visit of Ramaphosa. So that's why if you see the statement, he mentioned it very clear. It is our issue as South Sudanese. It is a responsibility of our leaders to dialogue and reach consensus for holding the elections. And if remember, for holding the elections, in the speech of Ramaphosa, two things were pulled out of the prerequisite. The prerequisite of 5. But the two that came out very clear from the speech of Ramaphosa, it is the issue of the unification of the forces and the constitution making. So I think those two issues, Ramaphosa have come across them as outstanding issues that requires some consensus to be reached. And if you see it very clearly in the speech, he mentioned it as towards the end of his speech, that please sit down on your own as South Sudanese leaders, reach consensus, because once you reach consensus is your destiny. And I think that is one strong outcome of Ramaphosa's visit. And for me, this goes back to the really attention of our leaders. I don't know why our leaders always need to be called for such decision-making process. Having an inclusive political dialogue for reaching consensus on the elections, it should be a first objective of our leaders by now. And as a civil society, we've been calling for long on that. We almost every month from different spaces that we get always, we conclude by saying the country right now need a very concrete political decisions through consensus among the political leaders and the stakeholders. So this one side of Ramaphosa's visit that is come very clear that he didn't really win anything except still getting back to the plane and going back to South Africa, demanding for an inclusive dialogue for consensus building. That's one outcome. Of course, the second other outcome is that his visit that also he need to trade on the unification of the SPLM, and he's a champion of the unification and the Arusha peace, and what we call Arusha unification process of SPLM, working together with the ruling party in Tanzania, and he was completely silent on that aspect. So it means also that element of the unification, he didn't want it, or if he win it, he might win it undercover. So it's sort of like a secret objective because in town there's no rumors. Everybody say Ramaphosa have discussed the unification of the SPLM agenda, which he is a champion when he was a vice president, but then now he's a president, and he believes that the unification is one way forward. And of course, there's a voices of unification that are very strong in Juba. So also, I think there he moved some steps, but you can see from the body language, it seems the agenda of the unification is gaining attention. Those are the two purposes that he came for. But of course, there's a bilateral purpose that he came for. And I think one of the bilateral, which for me, I like it, is meeting the African objective, is that now they're going to lift visas issues between South Sudan and South Africa. So South Sudanese can go to South Africa without a visa, and South Africans can come to South Sudan with a visa, which for me is a very good one because South Africa is one of the complicated countries when you want to go there with a visa, which for me is a good benefit for economical gain of the citizens of the two countries. So for me, that is my analysis, my take from the speech. I think if you ask me to zero it to one concrete outcome is that there's a call for our leaders to urgently hold a dialogue and reach consensus on the phase of conduct of the election, whether it be in December or extension. And you can see very clear from his statement, putting prerequisite of the two that is essential for our leaders to meet and reach consensus. There's a likelihood that the timeline left now, we may not hold election by December until some political decision through consensus are reached on the outstanding issues, which previously were 5, and now it has come very clear from our poster visit that 2 come as outstanding one: unification of forces and constitutional making process. And of course, among the positive gains is giving an observation status for National Election Commission to go and observe elections in South Africa, which is for me is really a good gain that our National Election Commission is now getting that observer status to go to observe South African elections. And I also like to share with the audience that personally have received invitation from AU to join a training in Morocco next week, and I'll be also one of the AU observer to South African elections. That's also an opportunity extended to me in person. So for me, those are some of the gains of the visit of the South African president. But I think the end results is that our leaders need to urgently meet, reach some political decisions through consensus on the fate of conducting the election by December 2024. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Edmund. Thank you. Let me move to the second agenda very quick. We have seen, Edmund, about the illegal logging, cutting down the tree, some part of area. My question to you, who are doing this in this area? Who are cutting the trees?
Thank you very much. On this second item of the agenda on the illegal logging of the timbers, this is not a new issue that has been coming to the public domain. It is really a consistent issue in the public domain that we have seen rampant illegal logging of timbers in some parts of our country, and specifically in the region of Equatoria. When you look at Morobo County, Yei River County, the illegal logging is really taking place. As you ask who are behind the illegal logging is carried out with a very influential individuals in uniform and in a political arena. I will tell you quite a number of commanders of our leaders in all uniform, being SSPDF or being IO, who are involved in the illegal logging, and they're backed up by some few also leaders that I know that are politically influential, also where they are involved in aiding the illegal logging. So it's a coordinated exercise of very influential people who are in uniform and who are in political seats in South Sudan, and they have their counterparts in the neighboring country, and in particular Uganda, who have also connection to international or to what we call multinational companies that are working on furniture that it involved the use of timbers. So that is how the large the scale is, and you can see the scale of the illegal logging is really too big. It's having huge environmental implications on our forestry, is creating deforestation, and is widening the forestry. So for me, that is really the people who are involved in the illegal logging. Is that it's not simple people, it's not a common man. It is people in a very influential position in the government that are involved in this illegal logging, and they're logging for their gain, because illegal logging has become a factor of fueling violence, and illegal logging has become an excess of corruption. Illegal logging have also opened up access to capital. So some politicians making capital. So in general, we say the summary is that we have South Sudanese in uniform, in all the institutions that wear uniform, and political leaders in partnership with similar individuals in the region, and particularly Uganda is much more dominant. And that's what have involved the illegal logging. Good enough, at least, that one of the MPs from Morobo County have raised a motion for illegal logging to be investigated. The National Parliament responded positively, formed a committee of 7 members to go and look into the illegal logging in Morobo County. And of course, similar committees were formed in investigating illegal logging in Kajukeji, illegal logging in Western Equatoria State. But all those committees have not come out with tangible and concrete results or resolution for stoppage of illegal logging. The question that we have now, we are doubting, will this committee now this time around be more effective? Will they perform miracle that their counterparts have not performed in the past? This is, for me, become the challenge that we're raising to this newly formed committee. Or is it an area that we've been advocating, we've been calling from time to time, and we appreciate the Parliament for responding positively for our pressure, demanding Parliament to intervene on the issue of the illegal logging. But it's a fluid business that cannot be stopped because powerful leaders in uniform and in political arena are involved in illegal logging across the country. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. What about the ship? The ship that was arrested by this SPLA-IO, and also the youth of that area has been arrested. Are they been released yet? And also, why is it IO arresting the civilian? This thing is not acceptable. So, and this, when they are appointed the committee to do this, this is what the government always do. When they want to kill something, like nobody will speak. They form the committee, and that committee that doesn't come with the what the finding and what the accountability. So are these soldiers or generals who are doing this legal logging in this area, are they held accountable? Yet the government hold them or capture them and arrest them? What they do with them?
Thank you very much. You know, I have a track record of working around fighting this illegal logging since 2013. If you remember, in 2013, 2014, it was a big fluid business, even until 2017, 18. And I engaged with some few international partners. We launched a documentary on illegal logging in South Sudan. And the documentary is online now. It's called The Profiteers of the War. And you can see the documentary mainly about illegal logging that happened in specific on the site of Yei, Morobo, and Kajukeji. And I think the documentary have led to some certain positive, tangible results. My experience on the business of the illegal logging is that one, as I said, is really very influential people, generals, politicians, plus their counterparts from neighboring countries, mainly Uganda, involved in the illegal logging. And if you want to address the issue of illegal logging at community level, like the chief of Panyume, he's called Joseph Joma. This chief is a head chief, and he was been accused to be one of the chiefs that have fed the national MP with information for supporting the motion that was raised, and he was being leveled. That is behind that, and he was picked up and arrested on last Saturday, and he was detained. Then he was released on Monday. That's that the following Monday, which is this Monday, he was been set free. But of course, he's been detained before and nothing. He was not been held any. He was not been accused for any charges. He just been detained for almost 2 or 3 nights, and then he was released just like that without any accountability, in impunity of really detaining him more than 24 hours as the law required. And the youth who are right now still not released, the youth belong to an area or a community called Waiba. The youth, they caught illegal loggers with the machines that they're logging with, and when they took them with the machines as illegal loggers, then they were called to an SPLM IO base to explain why they arrest the people who are illegal loggers with their machines. And then instead of the SPLIO leadership on the ground there investigating them for illegal logging, they also detained them in. That tells you very clear that those are the beneficiaries of the illegal logging, or the people behind the illegal loggers that were arrested by the youth and the machines. Those generals that arrest the youth are behind it. And this is very clear indicator that tells you that actually people are surviving on illegal logging, being some generals in the IO, in the government, or some politicians in the incumbent system in the government of whether the state level or national level are benefiting from illegal logging. And the youth who up to now as a speak, they're not released, but the head chief of Panyume was already released, but the youth were not released. And for me, that is sending a signal for the youth not to be reactive in protecting the environment. And remember, the forest that these particular youth are protecting defines their wealth, it defines their livelihood, but also it's really getting for them climate change in future. If you deal with the forest in that manner of illegal logging, where it means as a farming area, the amount of rain is going to reduce and people are going to experience heat, and that's why the youth are protecting their livelihood. But they're taken as they have done something wrong, and as I speak now, they're still under detention under the leadership of the SPLM IO. And of course, as an activist, I reach out to the leadership of Central Equatorial State, in particular of IO, and I question them and I communicate the top leadership. They said they will respond to that. They responded to me, they're going to react. But this is not the first time where you see SPLA officers on the ground misbehaving against the host communities. They have even displaced them from farming. Some of them are involved in looting the farms. When people cultivate their crops towards harvesting, they are kicked out either by the SPLA or they're kicked out by the SSPDF. So you come to realize that both, whether SPLA or SSPDF sometimes mistreat the people. And that's why I've made him a statement that we want to see discipline among
Edmund, are you there? Seems like you cut up. Let me.
Still walking away with the crimes they committed in impunity. The generals, the politicians who
Okay, bear with me, guys. Network over that is still. Edmund, we cannot hear you. Can you check your connection? Okay, bear with me, guys. Let them see his connection first. Edmund, can you hear me?
Yes, Abraham.
Okay, yeah, your network is just cut off.
Abraham?
Okay, thank you. Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, it will be off on. Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, let that run it very quick so your network is really.
Yes, it will be off on.
Yeah. So let's move to our next agenda number 3, raising of fake news and speeches and hostile propaganda in social media. As you see, there's 2 events caught my eye this week or last week. One is about the picture of former mayor that was scrapped and do a Photoshop and put on the middle of the youth carrying the gun, and that was trending online. I don't know if that is a fake picture or real. So, but the way it looks is not real. And second is there is a video clips running in social media for the past few days. Some of the South Sudanese are playing that President of Rwanda has said something to the President Salva Kiir. And let me play this video. It's very, very important, and then you pick up from there.
When he said what President Paul Kagame of Rwanda is clapping back. And he didn't name names when he said what he said. I'll show you the clip shortly, but I just want to give you the context. Even though he didn't name any names, the context is that there are neighboring countries in Africa speaking out against Rwanda, specifically the president of Rwanda, which is Kagame. And the person that has been vocal more than anyone is President Felix of Democratic Republic of Congo. And he had so much to say about the president. And I remember he went viral a few months back because he called President Kagame Hitler. That is the context, because DRC and also Burundi has called out Rwanda, and they claim that Rwandese forces are unaliving people in their soil and taking out resources. Let me first show you what President Kagame said.
Have your people, your own people, barely making ends meet, naked on the streets, no food, no nothing, and they're talking about, going to, you want to come and teach Rwanda what to do or change what is in Rwanda with what? For them, once the pocket is full, for them, the rest of the country, their own people can go to hell. That's what we see around. Instead of thinking of changing what is in Rwanda, why don't you change what is in your own country? First of all, that is not correct. Secondly, it is even impossible for you to do.
He made one statement that can apply to many leaders in this world, and that is, once their pocket is full, their people can go to hell. What he meant by that is that they don't care about what the people that voted them in, what happens to them. They don't care. They don't care if they're starving. They don't care if there's drought. They don't care if there's famine. They don't care if there's war. They don't care if there's conflict. As long as they get paid, they get their huge chunk that was promised to them by fill in the blanks, either a foreign multinational company or a government or even their own friends and family members. They don't care what happens to the people. And that is mainly what the issue is. That is why Africa is not where it should be, because people like this keep selling us out. People like this keep putting us down just so they can fill their pockets. And that is true for many, many, many leaders. And that is the reason why most of these nations can get away by stealing from us our resources. That is precisely why, because they only need to pay a few people to get away with it. So that is a point that is true, and these leaders need to be checked. Anyways, I want to show you a video of President Felix calling out Kagame.
The Democratic Republic of Congo. President Felix Tshisekedi on Friday compared his Rwandan counterpart Paul Kagame to Adolf Hitler and his expansionist aims. I'm going to address Rwandan President Paul Kagame and tell him this. Since he wanted to behave like Adolf Hitler by having expansionist aims in the DRC, I promise to end up like Adolf Hitler, declared Felix Tshisekedi to applause from the crowd at a rally in Bukavu, capital of South Kivu. Along with North Kivu and Ituri, South Kivu is one of the eastern provinces of the DRC that has been plagued for almost 30 years by the violence of armed groups, many of them inherited from the wars that bloodied the region between 1990 and 2000. Relations with neighboring Rwanda have been tense ever since.
Well, people believe that he was responding to that when he said what he said. And even though it's not just President Felix that spoke out, President of Burundi also called out Kagame, and he closed the border that they share between Rwanda and Burundi. And he said, we're not going to allow any movement from Burundi to Rwanda. But after there was a diplomatic discussion and there was a back and forth, they opened it back up. But even though it's not just Felix that is going against Kagame or speaking up against Kagame, people believe and speculate that this was towards Felix because he also gave few details in there. And yeah, there's that. But it's unfortunate that neighboring countries are not getting along. They're brothers and sisters. Quite literally, there are family members that are living in DRC and half of the family is living in Rwanda, right? And so when you see it like that and you know they share borders and you know they're one, we're all one, it's sad to see the back and forth, but at the end of the day.
Okay, so Edmund, are you there? Okay, so that is one of the video. Yeah, that's one of the video. Some of the South Sudanese took that, and they said that President Kagame is talking about South Sudan, and he's talking about President Salva Kiir. And what you want to take on that? Go ahead. Thank you.
Let me start the video and I go to your first image that you asked, because the first image I want to speak to it because I did a bit of investigation around it. One, this Kagame's statement, as per the analysis in the video, it affects quite a number of practices of many African leaders. Okay, so he's challenging the element of running away with public resources and providing no services. So every country, if they have their own political economic crisis, they can use this video for their interest. It depends on now what level of hatred, what level of hate do you have against your leadership of the country, and then you use that video for it. And if you're in a good area, I could have played to you how this video, Kagame, will be used by quite a number of countries, only us, in terms of, we find a group of individuals who might have a problem with the head of state, they just get Kagame's video and then they put the picture, which has happened. You have seen in South Sudan, the video, and probably fix the image of the president. Quite number. In my online research, more than 11 countries who are in a poor economical situation have used that video of Kagame, sort of like positioning it as he is speaking about the head of states. So the message I like to share with the audience that it's only not His Excellency President Salva have been used for that video. Quite a number of presidents have been used for that video. But I would like to speak at the capacity of being a president of East African civil society for 1 year in office. My experience in this file of East African region is that always, in particular, Kagame and Tshisekedi, they were really in confrontation because of the Eastern Kivu issue. So you find they're not in good terms. They confront each other on this particular subject. They issue very bad statements, naming each other in a very bad hate speech, describe each one in a very bad hate speech description. So I feel that in an analysis, the primary target for the speech of Kagame, it's really the president of DRC, Tshisekedi, because he worked for Tshisekedi to fail, but Tshisekedi won it. He also had a problem with Burundi. So now that particular video come at a moment where, and the people who take advantage of His Excellency President Salva is because His Excellency President Salva have asked for a summit on the issue of DRC between DRC leadership and Rwandan leadership. And people say, that is it. That's when it's direct to His Excellency President. But if you look at the content of that speech, the content of that speech is really referring mainly to DRC. Even Burundi is not so much, but mainly to DRC. But as I say, the content of the speech of the president of Rwanda, Kagame, each citizen of every country can use it against their own way. Even, let me tell you, by the way, I have seen also in Nigeria, Nile Delta region, people of Nile Delta region have used that video also, putting their governor of the region and saying, Uncle Kagame have spoken to them. Kagame realized Nile Delta region is suffering from the governor. Look here, everybody's using it. So for me, That video can clearly demonstrate to you level of hostility, level of hostile propaganda, level of hate that I like to say there. And of course, His Excellency President Salva being a chair of EAC, at the same time promoting the idea of a specific EAC summit on the relation between Rwanda and DRC over the situation in DRC. That particular statement, everybody can turn the barrel of the bullet towards South Sudan and say that's actually hitting His Excellency President Salva. And of course, it depends on also the level of hate, the level of hostility one have towards the President Salva. That's what people are saying. It is him being targeted. But to be honest and sincere to you, being a president of East African civil society in office 1 year, and also I was involved in forefront of negotiation as a leader of the civil society in the region. This particular speech is targeting Tshisekedi of DRC and specifically Eastern Congo. Okay, that area of Kivu is really, that's where the target is. And of course, I remember in one of the time, Tshisekedi prior to the elections, after he won, he told one day he's going to fix Rwanda to behave well, and he won't tell Rwandans what to do. Now the question comes is that where have we found a speech of His Excellency President Salva telling Kagame, you are the problem and I'm going to tell you how to run the state of Rwanda in the region so that they can come. But of course, I say that open speech is challenging the reality of so many leaders and everybody can use it. So it's a question of how do you take position of being positive, of taking it easy and looking at, because as I said, a culture of hatred that they have among them is really very high, and they use very bad languages among themselves, and they use very bad descriptions. So everybody can take advantage of that speech and use it for their purposes. So that's what I like to limit with regard to the Kagame speech. That's the way how Kagame's speech is.
Yeah, thank you. What about the pictures of former mayor, the one that I put up? So regarding he would put that take a picture with the youth who are armed. So majority of people that say that picture is a fake. What did you find out about that picture? Thank
you. Personally, I did a quite number of investigation onto these photos. These photos were two in design. There was this one, there's another one that will also sit down and like he is holding in his hand a gun. My investigation is as follows. The first is that the first pictures I came across were pictures who have been transferred from, I think, a couple of devices, from more than 7 devices, and have reduced the quality of the look of the photo. And the photo, when you put it, there's a software that you can check originality in terms of GPS, where have these photos been before, whether have been used before somewhere. So I took up that particular exercise of investigation and looking into the reality. And it took me quite a number of days. So later on, I landed on same photos of less transfers from gadgets, and the results came to me a bit differently. This is what I'm going to be honest and sincere. These photos, if you get the original photo that is not being transferred from one gadget to another, out of the two, there are facts holding there that these photos are from what we call leg in. Leg in, once you get the results of a photo on online search, not leg in, it means it's true. Photo that is not being displayed, and the GPS is reading is between Jongole, Central Equatoria, and Eastern Equatoria location, because we don't have a proper GPS systems in our country that our locations are proper registered GPS. So GPS only will predict to you where such photos have been taken. So these photos, I investigated and I did my background check. I realized that these photos, former mayor took it not with intention of mobilizing revolution. He was one time interacting with Murle youth, while Murle youth were disturbing and adapting and cattle raiding and all that. So he took with them with good faith, through my analysis, that is, took them with a good faith, and he kept them in his phone. So I think it was found from his phone, and that where they utilize it. And of course, the interpretation of that becoming completely different from the intention that he took for it. And as I speak now, about 3 people that are with him in the image are already picked up and they're locked by national security. And of course, people have a different interpretation. But the reality is that he didn't intend to take it for bad purposes. He took it for so like a good purposes. But of course, we move from one picture to another. Already, the element of photoshopping is coming real. And my main appeal to South Sudanese is that sometimes when we see photos, let's have time to investigate. Let's have time to look into. Because for me, we have a what do you call fact-finding software system that any photos that you display, you can easily dismiss it. Because when I got the one which was been transferred from several gadgets, first it dismissed to me. It looked like fake photo. It looked like photoshopping. That's the results online. But when I continue there, so 3 boys in those images are already picked up and they've been locked in. And that's why I'm saying when I landed on the one which has not been so much transfers, it told some facts. But the reality is that he didn't intend to declare anything like revolution. He is with more youth, so like sitting in a normal. So for me, but if you see the level of hate speech that are there, and if you see the level of wrong interpretation, if you see the level of people want to take advantage of such images, like as I said with Tshisekedi, with the Kagame's speech against Tshisekedi, how it was turned against His Excellency President, that photo is being completely been misused, misinterpreted, and been put as something to deliver certain objective that does not meet the objective of why those photos were taken. So I think, based on my survey, these photos were pulled out of the phone of former mayor, and that means this photo hold the water. And as I said already, some 3 boys from those photos have been picked. And as I speak with you now, the parliament is taking an action of raising a motion for the release of the former mayor. And that's why I would like at this platform, we keep on calling that if former mayor have a problem with the law, hand over him to police, let him face the law in a competent court. And if not, then release him, allow him to be free, let him enjoy life like any other citizens. But my worry is that South Sudanese like to have hatred and hostile propaganda and hate speech among themselves. And slight mistake, everybody takes an advantage to create something that is unexpected to exist among citizens. So that is really my take, and that is the level of hate speech and hostile propaganda, as you have said. It's becoming too much among us. And you can see with the use of these photos, you can assess the level of hostility we have against each other, the hate.
Okay. Edmund, can you hear me? Your network's cut off again. Edmund, we cannot hear you. Edmund, can you hear me? Try to check your connection. I think your connection is not working. Okay, guys, bear with me. So he will be back. He's in place where there's no good network connection. So let us do this very quick so we can wrap it up. We have one more agenda that we need to discuss, and then I will let him go. We will talk more about this, some of the issues next week when he returns to Juba. Start sharing the video, guys. So thank you. Okay, here is come back. All right. Edmund, can you hear me now?
Yeah. Sorry, guys. My network is really very poor.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah. Yeah. Hello. Yeah. I can hear you now. So let's move in very quickly.
Yeah, sorry, just my network is a bit off on. Sorry.
Yeah. So put in your last word for that topic about propaganda and hardstyle in social media before we go to the last topic.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you see the level of hatred and the level of hostile propaganda, the level of bitterness we have among ourselves, defines for you the way how sometimes when a slight mistake happen among ourselves, how we handle it. So for me, that's really appeal that I would like to appeal to South Sudanese. And of course, I'm speaking to you. I'm in a far front of campaigning to ensure that the life of the former mayor is okay. He's not tortured. He's released. And as I said, if he is in conflict with the law, let him be given back to police and face the law and get the consequence of the law. If not, then let him be released. But as I said, already 3 people from those images or the photos are also picked up and have been demanding for their safety and their release. If they're in conflict with the law, let's get them. And of course, that particular approach, it opened up a Pandora box of debating around the behaviors and the function of our national security services, and then Article 54, 55, whether it's still functional or not, whether the presidents have agreed for it to be removed or not being removed. So it radicalized things. And I think for me, it's an appeal to our authorities. Let us respect the rule of law and let rule of law prevail to nurture the respect of human rights, rule of law, and democracy growth in the country. Thank you.
Thank you, Edmund. Let's move to the next. I have seen video clips in social media, and this was today in the BI region, BI town. Let me. Okay, that is a video of today in Abiai town. There were huge protests going on, and also some of the Dinkangok who are living in diaspora. They will have another rally in New York City at the United Nations headquarters. They will, I think, what I read was today. I don't know if they are there now or they will do it tomorrow. So they are calling for withdrawal of South Sudan forces in Abyei area, and also they are calling for genocide to stop in Abyei. My question to you, Ilmun, you are one of the person been monitoring this, and you are one of the peace builder within this region. What is going on in Abyei right now? If there is a genocide going on, as I see people are saying son and daughter of Abyei, I said there is a killing going on in the Bay area, there is genocide. Is there a genocide going on in that area? Why I'm asking this question in Moon is because the BI has been a lot of things going on between Twitch and the BI, and also too, and also United Nations are there. So if there is a genocide going on, who's committing genocide? Is it South Sudan Defense Forces, or is it Dinka Twitch? So who are committing this genocide that they are claiming? Is it true there is a genocide going on? Because we need to make awareness to the public to know if there is genocide going on or there is no genocide. Thank you. You can pick up from there.
Thank you very much. I think my take is that, as you said in the beginning, I was effectively engaged, involved indirectly or not directly, but mainly directly. I was really directly engaged in nurturing a culture of peaceful coexistence among the two communities. And normally we hold peace dialogues, peace meetings, bring the people together, as you say. More than 3 times I was involved there. The lastly is what when we had in Wow and bringing people together to resolve their problems and sign some agreements. I work with the civil society over that. So there's a quite number of attempts for finding peaceful settlement of differences between the two communities. And of course, let me be honest and sincere, the issue of the two communities is linked with the issue of the revenue generated in a net market. That revenue, if we don't talk about it sincerely in an honest manner, is going to be problematic because of that revenue have raised the debate around the ownership of the land of a net market, whether it is a Twitch Mayardit land or it's a North Dinka land. And there's a lot of history linked to that, but mainly is the revenue generated in a net. How is it being divided between the two communities? So the development continues a confrontation between the two communities. And I like to say, if there's atrocities committed on the ground, no community is free. The two communities were committing atrocities against themselves from time to time, violation of human rights. Either it is the Twitch might be committing it against the Ngok or the Ngok committing it against, and even there's the images you can see of burning of children that has happened or bodies that has happened among the two communities. And now it has reached to the level of where political assassinations are going on, and mainly the political assassinations is geared towards the Ngok. And you see, this latest trigger, it's the assassination that was waged against the Romage commissioner, and he missed the assassinations, and there's attacks that are going on. So in terms of violent attacks between the two communities, both communities are carrying out attacks against each other violently. And also there's a lot of commitment of human rights violations. And there's attempts to have a peace dialogue between the two communities. So that is what is going on among the two communities. And my worry is that if the national government didn't intervene quickly, it's going to turn to something different, that it may create a surprising situation where you see communities waging a deadly war against each other, and actually which may come against the commitment of the genocide. I remember when back then there was an attack of the Nuer against the civilians in a undiscriminative manner in a PA town. We campaigned and we called that particular incident. It may end up to be described as a genocide that is happening in Abia. And I remember we have been misunderstood by our brothers and sisters from Twitch Mayardi, and some post a threat of suing us to court that we say that the one, but actually by then it was a wage of war of our brothers, the Nuers, who were there in between the two communities, who waged the attack after a situation happened that they went for raiding, and there was raiding, they didn't reach, and then later on they went and ban and kill people with indicators that describe crime against humanity is being committed. So for me, the sincere call is that the two communities, the elites, need to come together. They can't continue confronting themselves. If they continue confronting themselves like that, now you will see this video may trigger another more hostile propaganda and hate speech, and it may trigger nicknaming and bad description, and it may lead to really very bad revenge and very bad attacks, very bad killing among our communities between the Ngok and the Twitch. That for me is a very important. The call for SSPDF to leave is that SSPDF is be described that they're not neutral. But something I want to share with you, Abraham, SSPDF is attacked from both sides. There's a scenario will come to realize that it's the Ngok Dink attacking SSPDF. One time you see that the Twitch was attacking SSPDF. So SSPDF in between the two communities under attack. It depends on how they act on the situation that happened. Because I've also seen in the past where Twitch was saying SSPDF are not, they need to go. They need to quit. They're not neutral. And now we have seen now Ngok saying SSPDF, and Ngok several times keep repeating that they see SSPDF is taking side. And remember also there was an attack of, they accused SSPDF of attacking their own civilians and political administrative area in Homage. So for me, where it's turned to be an assassination attempt. So for my appeal is that the two communities need to be brought together for a dialogue and find amicable solution to their differences. And the differences is much more centered on the issue of the revenue generated in a net market and the ownership of a net market, which end up being complicated with a PA box.
Thank you. Thank you, Edmund. Yeah, I hope that's something the government needs to step up, and the two communities need to come to to come together, and then so that they can come and make a peace between them. And also regarding about South Sudan defense forces, they should be middle between those two communities, so that there's now any other people to attack others communities. So that suppose the reason why they are there to bring peace among the two. But for them be accused, so they should just only put the law and order in place, and I hope that they should do. My last question: I have seen today in Juba, President Salva Kiir Mayardit sworn in one of the chief administrator of Bibor, Mr. Former youth chairman, Mr. Golwak Boy. He is one of the. He's warning it today. But something caught me attention, Edmund. During a ceremony, General Deb Yao Yao, as we know, a few weeks ago, he defected from SPLA Maji to SPLA IO. And he was overwhelmingly welcomed by SPLA IO. But today in Juba, when sworning in, I have seen the picture. General David Yao Yao stand with President Salva Kiir, and they were smiling. Look at this picture. This is what caught me up. Look at this picture. They were smiling. This is the really surprise. I was shocked. I said, "Oh wow!" And so, what do you take on this? And this is another picture right here. You see, this is a community of Pibor community. They were swearing in. Mr. New chief administrator. What do you say about this picture? So, has like a few weeks ago, General David Yao Yao, he left SPLA, who President Salva Kiir be a chairman of SPLM, and then he joined SPLA-IO. So now, today you see in J1, they were laughing, shaking hands, pat each other back, and they were seem like they are in good terms with one another. My question is here. That's my thought. Is it David Yaya want to return back to SPLM IG, and what is it? So thank you. Go ahead.
In summary, this is a pure politics. This is a real pure politics. This is a real politics that David Yao is playing, and you can see it very clear. It was really pure. It was a real one. It's matured one. This initially, that's how people would have played politics. But let's see. Right now, we cannot judge because we don't know the follow-up actions. Let's give it days and let's see how the behavior of the follow-up actions goes. And if you follow also his statement that he talked about the SPLM, this picture makes you get surprised. But if really this is how it's going to play politics positively, then this is a good scenario of showing politics how to be played, because we may disagree politically, but in some events we need to show loyalty of being together. And you can see, as you said, the body language is speaking very well. So for me, my demand is that give it time. And then from there we can see what are the outcomes.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I hope we will give them. We'll see. We will follow. And and also too, I'm reaching out to David, General David Yayo for interview. Hopefully, someone will connect me with him. We'll bring him to Lake State Media Live. So now I'm conclude. So you have a better issue with the network that I have. Few people here in Clubhouse. So I don't know if they have question. Isaac, do you have anything to ask to Edmund? Oh, before I let you go, before I give a chance to others, there's a question, very important question has been asked here. One of the person in Clubhouse. So this one was one of the things called Lake State Media was the one report this in the beginning. There was incident happened a couple of days ago. There were the cattle they use from Unity State. They attack Lake State, which is in Yerul, one of the cattle camp, and they attack and they raid some of the cattle, and then the use of that area, they start go after their own cattle to get their cattle back. There were a lot of some of like 8 people were being reported as being wounded. One is killed, and those are from Yus Nuer, from Pinjar. They come from Pinjar, and they attacked one of the cattle camp called Lad Cattle Camp in Yerul East County. So one of the person in Club asking you, Mr. Inmun, why Nuer or Penijar County of Unity State raid a Lad Cattle Camp in Eastern Yerul County? So can you, while you are there, what did you hear anything about what happened during those few days ago?
I would say I don't want to provide a premature answer. The reasons also I'm here, I landed today. I will look into it, I will address it. If you wish me to provide an answer to this particular question, give me number of days. And I'm quite sure by the end of the weekend, we may have a show, because I'm going to continue to go to Pariang, and there's an exchange of letters between the two leadership about when the governor visited Manga. So for me, is that give me time, I will take them into account. In the weekend, I'll provide the concrete answer rather than really providing a premature answer with that concrete evidence. So I will take it into account and become part of my research why I'm here, and then I'll share with you towards the weekend about these particular two items, this reading item and then the item of the exchange of letters between Unity State and Wing Administrative Area.
Okay,
Over
thank you
there.
very much. Yeah, thank you. Isaac, Manon, Majongton, and Akol, if you guys, one of you have a question, you can go ahead, but just the reports, network issues over there is a problem.
Yeah, thank you. I don't have a question, but I just want to thank Edmund, and I just appreciate what he's doing in the country. A couple months ago, was touring Barakazal, now he's touring Upper Nile. It's a great job, and may God protect you for your civil society work that you are doing for our country. Regarding the issue of seeing the picture of General David Yao with the President Kiir, J1, during the sworn-in, the new chief administrative of the board. I think, in my opinion, that is the right way for us to play. We should play the politics in the country, because politics does not mean we are enemy to one another. If someone actually chooses to be in a different party, even my brother or my wife can choose to be in a different party, but does not make us one enemy to one another. We have to do the right thing. I think showing up of Yahya in sworn-in is a big change in politics in the country, and I hope that is the case with General Yahya, because the chief administrative is going to serve the community of people, and I don't think General Yahya have any intention or against the decision of the opportunity that was given to the young leader to lead the people administrative. Even though he joined the IO, I think he still can come across to attend, because also let us not forget, Yahya is one of the leader in Bibor. We consider him as one of the leader in Bibor, and it doesn't matter which party he's in, whether he's in SPLM or he's in IO, he should actually display the big responsibility in the area of Bibor. Therefore, his prison, I think, is a good sign of the political change, and himself transforming himself from military to become a civilian. I think his prison is very important. Whether his intention to return to the SPLM, which we can welcome him back, if that is the case, or he is still committed to be a part of the IO, then he show a very good sign of positive part of it, and then also sending the sign also to those who may be members of his own community that are still in the SPLM, that him being a part of the IO does not mean that he's enemy to anyone that is still a member of the SPLM, and that is a good way we should play the politics in South Sudan. Thank you.
Thank you, Manon. Isaac.
Yeah, thank you so much, Abraham. I think you have exhausted a lot of questions that are ringing in the minds of South Sudanese people. We better give the chances to our guest just to appreciate Mr. Edmund Yakani for his commitment and the updates that he has given to the public. So let's move the line to our guests in the room here, such that we speed up with the show. Edmund has a network issue. I think a call is ahead of Majongton.
Yeah, thank you. Let Majongton came first. Majongton I spoke before. Majongton Padal.
Yeah, thank you, South Sudan Eagle Media, Madan Majak, Nasib Madan Majak, and Rock and Manon, and Call, and the rest of audience who are listening down here. Thing going on in the country. Agenda number one was about Paul Kagame thing. Paul Kagame thing has nothing to do with South Sudan. If there is something doing to South Sudan, President Kiir went there as the leader of East African group. And these South Sudanese, they need to be educated into this problem of Rwanda, Congo, Burundi, sensitive thing. Like South Sudan, political in South Sudan, it's sensitive sometimes. Kiir went there as a leader of East Africa. South Sudan, Rwanda, South Africa, we have a special relationship. Rwanda is one of the countries. 2011, South Sudan flag went up in 15 seconds. Rwanda is one of the 3 countries recognized South Sudan. In 15 seconds, Israel was number 1, and then Zambia, and then Rwanda, 3. And then the rest of the country come. Rwanda, what Paul Kagame say is Felix Tshisekedi of Congo. Killers in Rwanda, ethnic Hutu, they are called FDR now, Front Liberation for Rwanda, are rebel in Congo. And the political going on in the region, East Africa, they have their own political. South African countries, they extract mining, like diamonds and all copper and everything in Congo. South African, Namibia, Zambia, Angola, the backing government of Kinshasa. South Sudan, Uganda, and Kenya, they back Rwanda. The region is almost divided. Congo, there is competition. Kiir went there to talk. Kiir been put in a position as a leader of East African community. If there is anything to be said there, this question was thrown in East African community. Can be thrown in Burundi, can be thrown in Congo. This is Paul Kagame lashing out on Burundi and Congo. Somehow people want to use it. Kiir went there for a commemoration of a genocide in Rwanda. South Sudan have sympathy for Rwanda. South Sudan have sympathy for South Africa. Genocide, apartheid done it. And the apartheid get away with it because they have their cousin in Kawajat, Western world. So this is totally ground zero nonsense for opposition, twisting it as Salva-Kiir thing. Even though it become a Salva-Kiir thing, I like boldness of Paul Kagame. African leaders, they need to be criticized as long as you not mention anybody's name. And the lady broadcasting explained it. And if you look at the video, you can see the map break wall in a mountain in Eastern Congo. Eastern Congo is very dangerous. It's going to be like us with Sudan. It's going to be like us with Ethiopia in the future, or us with Kenya or Uganda. There is ethnic connection, there is land grabbing, border encroaching inside. Those are going to happen now. But South Sudan have no capacity to talk about those kind of things. In Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo, South African countries are arming M23 rebel. Rwanda is arming CNDP of Eastern Congo. There is ethnic Tutsi called Banyamalingi in the North Kivu, South Kivu, Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo. Congolese discriminating them. It's like a Nyak now in Ethiopia and Nuer. Later on, they will end up either in Joko, either in Pachala. And this can, in the future, they can put people into something. Or Ethiopia might across the border. Gilo River was a border between South Sudan and Ethiopia. So this, I'm just saying in the Congo, this is the case. Those ethnic in Eastern Congo, Congolese say they are foreigners. And this has been a war in the Congo. And those guys, they say they're not foreigners, they are Congolese, they need equal rights. Killers commit genocide Rwanda that are in Congo are called freedom fighters and are rebels, are backed up over there. So for Kagame, even when South Sudan troop went to Congo, I oppose it. That's my opinion. But South Sudan, they should take these troops into border in enclave, where three countries meet, where Congo, South Sudan, Central Africa. That's what I suggest South Sudan should send their troops there to counter, because law resistant army are in Kafia Ganyi, where terrorists, Islamic radical, Silica in Central Africa Republic. That's where South Sudan should be peacekeepers in that Congo border, not to go in this side of DR, Kinshasa border to Kajikaji or Lasso in Yei. Those we don't need that. There is enough United Nations and France is there where there is superpower. I suggest that. So somehow Paul Kagame insulted. Yeah, leader of Burundi, yes, it's been insulted. Leader of DR Congo, yes. Bishumbura are backing rebel against Rwanda. Killers of genocide. That's
okay. Okay, Majonton, Inmuni having an issue with network, so I will yes. Try to let you go.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Abraham back.
Oh, you are back. So Edmund, I will let you go ahead and put in your last statement because your network is cutting off, and then I will let you go. Okay.
Yeah, I would like to tell every South Sudanese that we may have differences among ourselves, but let's be matured enough. Let's demonstrate political maturity, political discipline. And as I say, there's one person I've commented, if that's the way how David Yawia won't play politics, then he's setting a new presidency to our political arena, because as you're aware that we are always violent in politics. Politics, you can disagree in ideology, but the stability of our nation and safety of our people should be paramount. So that's one I'd like to mention in terms of the David Yawia. But in terms of the hate speech and the hostile propaganda and the hatred that we have among ourselves, we need to find a room of sorting it out. So I think for me, that's the call I would like to make in. And that's why, if you remember the issue of the former mayor, I'll keep on demanding that how much is in conflict with the law, let it be completely a non-political issues, and let the police take responsibility, and let us ensure safety, because aggressions never help. Aggressions normally always set a nation into a fire. So let us not be aggressive to each other. With regards to the visit of the South African president, I think South African president's visit has made a very strong call and appeal to our leaders and even the people who are listening and who can convey message to our principals. I think our leaders at the level of the presidency, at the level of political parties, we need to go for an inclusive political dialogue for us to reach consensus on the conduct of the election. My worry is that June is approaching. Remember, we have these 3 key deadlines that are very important. So on 2nd June, we have to come out and declare the country is ready for elections. And right now, as we speak, 1 month to reach to June, he's still doing state consultations for the establishment of the state's National Election Commission's offices. And come to 2nd September, the government has to be dissolved. So legitimacy of the government after 1 month and 15, or after 1 month and 20 days would be so much questionable. Or after 2 months, the legitimacy of government from 22nd June will be questionable. That will be another trigger for returning the country back to violence. So for me, let our leaders right now listen to us. Let's go for an inclusive political dialogue to reach consensus on the fate of the election. Otherwise, I'm in Unity. After my visit from Unity, I will provide updates, and I'd like to say to sons and daughters of Unity who are here, I'm in your state, and I'm going to proceed to Ruang administrative area because we have seen recently extensive exchange of confrontational statement between Unity State and Ruang administrative area. That's why I'm here on the ground, and I'm here to work with my fellow colleagues, civil society, how to prepare ourselves to have a society in Unity State that is not confrontational and that we live in peace, in dialogue, and we come together as South Sudanese, whether in Unity State or anywhere. And of course, as I said, for me, I like to be a primary hand person with my information. I don't listen to second-hand information. So I'm coming to update myself with the issue of the oil also spill over that is leading to red disaster stories in Unity in Ruang area. I'm here for it. After my 1 week visit, we will share with everybody in this particular platform to sons and daughters of Unity State, Male, Jinethin. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Edmund Yakwan. Edmund, have a wonderful time. Be safe. Yes, of course, we will do another show next week when you return to Juba, and then you will give South Sudanese an update what you're finding over there. And that's a good. You are doing a wonderful job. Stay safe. May God bless you. May God keep you safe, and God will give you a hand to accomplish the work that you are doing for the innocent people that who are facing a lot of issues in our country. Thanks so much. I always be happy and proud of your work that you are doing. Be safe there and have a wonderful time. Have a wonderful night. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay. So the Congo thing, I totally explained it. The sensitivity of Congo.